Surah 28.
My
Surah
question,
28.
listen,
Do you
again,
think Surah
again.
28 is accurate, Muhammad?
My question is to you again. Do you want to discuss
Muhammad,
Trinity?
do you think Surah 28 is reliable?
When Moses is dead, okay, you're telling me that Moses died and still the remaining of the revelation of the Torah was given to him while he was dead. Is that correct?
Just throwing in more names here.
No, yeah, well,
Give me the logic. How do you conclude that the Torah we have today is not the Torah that Moses had? How did you conclude that?
I told you, brother. I don't know if he's coming. I don't know if he's coming or nothing.
I'm not interested in anyone in CCI or anyone with their affiliation. So
Sorry, engaged.
Oh, okay. I'm interested to see if you.
I'm not interested. You may be interested, but I'm not.
In the Quran.
I can direct you to Regis Bakwas. I can show you exactly where it is. You can ask the Imam there.
Wow.
Right?
So,
you know,
so
if you really
Why,
want to know,
Mansoor?
please,
Mansoor, I want to learn from you, Mansoor.
Mansoor.
So this was a private discussion. You was interrupted.
That's fine. Okay. So if
But
you
you're
don't
quite
want
happy to speak about the Bible every week, Mansoor. Why, Mansoor?
Good to see, brother. So yeah, Surah 28. I want to.
This was a private discussion.
shows from this.
I'll come to you later.
Your
Mansoor.
ignorance.
Later.
No, not interested.
Once you're done with your private
Are you that
conversation.
desperate?
Well, I'm trying to.
Desperate.
I'm trying hard to
Understand,
find out
yeah.
if this could be true or not.
Okay. Is that the word of God?
Scholars.
Is that the word of
You
God?
can go sit with them.
That seems to be the claim.
Okay.
But I think there are fundamental problems here.
Okay.
So I wanted to.
Walking away.
Are you a Muslim?
Yeah, I'm a Muslim.
Well, you seem like a very young man.
Yeah, I am a very
Your fellow.
Wow.
They normally accuse me of picking on
Let him
young
know. Come
people.
on. Wow.
So maybe I should find someone a bit older.
Take him away from the truth.
I've been watching you for 6 months, you and Bob. Come down here today to see you guys.
Okay.
You've made me, you made me want to get into the front line, off the couch, get on the front line.
Praise the Lord.
Praise
Good to
the
see you,
Lord.
brother.
Praise the
Good
Lord.
to see you.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
God bless you.
God's blessings. Yes.
See you, bro.
So, if you're ever in Windsor, we have a restaurant in Windsor.
I see.
My
Okay.
wife and I have a restaurant called Gogo's, which
Okay.
in Zulu means grandmother.
I see. Okay.
And if you're ever down there, you've got
Where
a free meal
is that?
in Windsor. It's in Windsor Racecourse Marina.
Windsor. Okay.
Yeah. Windsor Racecourse Marina is where Eton College is.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Windsor and Eton. Yeah.
But you're arguing the way you do it with gentleness. It's all biblical. It's been such an encouragement. So I wanted to come here and shake your hand and meet you.
Okay.
And finally today it's happened.
Praise the Lord.
But
Praise
thank
the
you.
Lord.
God
Praise
bless
the
you.
Lord.
God
Praise the
bless
Lord.
you, man.
Good to see you. So,
Let's set the tone and then maybe agree
yeah, so,
on some of the points
so
to have a
can you
full
get
length
the
discussion.
Bible? Can you get it? So, and you are knowledgeable on the Quran?
I'm a student.
You're a student.
If I do not know the answer, I will say I don't know.
So my fundamental problem, so I picked up the Quran and I wanted to, of course, study the Quran a bit more and so on, just to come here to challenge.
Let me stop you there. When you say you wanted to study the Quran, did you want to study it from a Christian perspective or a Muslim perspective?
From a neutral perspective.
So from a neutral perspective.
Yeah.
When you come to study the Quran, you need to study it under the scope of the Quran, of how the
should be a good discussion,
Prophet interpreted it,
No
how
shout, no
the
shout, yeah.
companions interpreted it, and how the early scholars of Islam interpreted it.
No, I think you're giving me things which doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
let's put it this way.
No,
Let's put it this way.
Arul, give me a second. If you are to study a scripture, when I study the Bible, I do not refer to the Quran to study the Bible.
So are you Muslim?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you consider your fellow Muslims as brothers?
Of course.
Yeah. So we are in Speaker's Corner, not far away from Marble Lodge. Marble Lodge is just there, and you can go to you can go to many parts of our country here today with dawah stands, giving out free Qurans. I never paid anything to get my Qurans.
That's good.
Giving out free Qurans. They never told anyone you need to study under someone else. All that they said is, this Muhammad comes in the line of Jesus, please read.
Stop.
That's how they give. That's how they give this out. So don't give. Excuse me, my friend. Do not say illogical things to me and get away with it.
Arul.
This is a Quran
Arul.
which was given to me in a public place.
Arul.
Apparently they want me to read this, and that's what I've done.
No, give me a second. Hold on a second. When you came to me, you said you wanted to ask me questions because you wanted to study the Quran.
No, I didn't say.
Yes, you did. Okay.
What did I say? I said I am studying. I didn't come to you
Okay,
to. Yeah.
all right. You are studying. Okay. Now, there's a difference between picking up a Quran at a stand
Yep.
and reading it and studying it. When you come to study the Quran, you
Yep.
don't study it by superficially reading what's on the pages.
So, please help me then.
Hold on.
Please help me.
Do you understand this point? Before we
Yeah,
continue, do you understand that study is not considered a superficial reading of text is not considered study. So when you claim to be studying, you need to understand what you're studying, how you were supposed to study it, under what scope.
My dear friend, I'm well educated. Yeah, I've gone through bachelor's degree, I've gone through master's degree, and I write papers, and I worked in the research and development department. I know how to study. Don't worry about that. Let's
in other fields.
my dear friend, don't tell me how to study. Yeah, we know.
Give me a second.
I've given you multiple seconds already. You're patronizing me, giving me nonsensical, illogical statements about how someone studies.
When you go into a field,
can we get to the points here, please?
No. We need to make it very clear.
Are you willing to defend the Quran?
There is no. I am 100% willing to defend the Quran.
Let's do that, please.
However,
Let's do that, please.
However, in any field you study, you need to know how to study that particular field.
No. You just pick up a book, try reading already. So you don't have to wait and meditate and so on. Try and see, can I study? Will there be a voice? You don't have to do all
Where
that.
did I study? Where did I say?
You're giving me things which are equivalent to that. Let's put it this way. Is this the Quran?
This is the translation of the Quran.
So is this the translation of the Quran?
That's correct.
Yeah, so can I pick this up to find out what it says? Can I do that? Is that a sensible thing to do?
Yes, I never said that.
Would that be a
I'm
reason? Yeah.
talking about
So
study.
can we do this? Yeah. I've taken up Surah 28. Yeah. Al-Qasas. Al-Qasas, the story. Yeah. It gives you the story of Moses and the Pharaoh and the interaction and so on. Yeah. And thankfully, I have in my hand the Bible. Yeah. The Bible, the Torah, as you might know, the Torah is how you call it. The Torah.
No, stop.
The Torah.
Let me clarify.
The Torah was written by Moses and is the primary source of information.
When you finish.
Torah is the primary source of information of what happened between Moses and God, between Moses and the nation of Israel, between Moses and the Pharaoh. This is the primary source of information. The Quran came much later, and I'm just trying to compare these two. And I have serious issues.
Hold on, give me a second.
And that's where I come to you for your help.
Right, let me respond first. First of all,
Yeah.
when you said to me that this is the Torah, as I would call it, yeah, the Torah, yeah, you were implying that I believe that this is the scripture given to Moses.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not talking about what you believe. You
No.
You
Because
could
like I
believe
said-
in fairy tales. I'm not here for that.
Like I said, hold on. This is why I said it's very important to understand under what scope you study a particular scripture. Because when you read the Quran, when it talks about the Torah, yeah, it's talking about the original revelation given to Moses. Now, if you're going to go to the Bible, to the Old Testament, and say, well, now these two stories are contradictory, or there are differences, or something like that, it's a fallacy, because we do not consider the Old Testament as the primary source that the Quran got its story from, because it's not the Torah.
Have you got
that
the
Quran
courage
refers
to deal with the Quran? Have you got the
I'm
courage?
pointing out your fallacy. You cannot go forward.
Have
if
you
you're-
got the
if you're-
courage for us to get to the facts here now? Have you got the courage to deal with that
Hold
now?
on, hold
How
on.
are you, brother?
I'm dealing with.
You're giving me lectures
I'm not giving you
which
lectures.
go
We're dealing with the premise.
before reading the
We're
stuff.
dealing with the premise.
My point is, can we get to the crux of the story?
Arul.
Can we read this?
Arul, first of all, you have to deal with the premise. Okay. Now, the premise that you're basing your argument on.
Are you a Muslim? Are you a premise man? Who are you?
If you think you're going to intimidate me by saying, "Oh, are you a Muslim? Are you scared?"
No,
It's
you're
not gonna
talking
happen.
about premises.
It's not
I'm talking about the Quran.
Yes, and
Let's
I'm talking
get to
about
the Quran,
and I'm
please.
talking about the premise that you're applying when you're applying it to the Quran. It's wrong. Yeah?
So can
You
we?
cannot-
Is the Quran wrong?
No.
So
I'm
can
saying
we
your
read the
premise
Quran
wrong.
then?
I'm saying your
Can we
premise
read the
is wrong.
Quran then? Yeah.
No, Arul, you have to stop for a second, breathe, okay? Because you are just trying to jump into it without understanding what we believe.
Well, I'm hoping you as a Muslim would be very, very interested for us all to talk about the Quran at the park. I'm hoping.
I love it.
But Well, let's get on to it then. Let's do that.
No. Stop.
So you don't seem to love it. Let's get on to this.
Again, trying to use intimidating or
I'm not intimidating. I asked you
phrases.
if you would
You're
like us
welcome.
all to read the Quran.
Yeah.
You said you love it. Can we do that then?
You can do it once you understand the premise that
I-
you are applying.
Fine. Thank you. Thank you for giving me
It's wrong.
corrections on premises.
Okay, Arul,
Let's
stop,
read the
stop,
Quran.
Stop. You are deliberately ignoring that we do not consider the Old Testament to be the Torah revealed to Moses, and you are insisting that when these two, that the story in Torah Qasas and the story in Exodus 2 are contradictory, and somehow the Quran gets it wrong because the Bible is correct.
So you seem like a very confident man, which is very good.
It's based upon
Now
presumptions.
shall we get to the facts? Yeah. I heard all
please.
that you said. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
let's get to this.
We'll go on this based on your presumptions, not solid facts.
Surah 28. Al-Qasas, the story.
With you soon, yeah?
Al-Qasas, the story, yeah? Let me read. This is, of course, a story, apparently a narration of what happened between between Moses and his family and Pharaoh and so on, yeah? I'm going to read to you a few verses. Essentially, I wanted to read this surah for about an hour, and within 10 minutes...
Go for it.
And within 10 minutes, you see all the underlined statements there.
So
within 10 minutes,
selective reading.
within 10 minutes, I came across plenty
selective
of
reading.
problems. No. Going one verse at a time, I underline as I go through the passage. Let's read this. Okay. For example, verse number 6. Now I'm beginning from verse number 3. We narrate to you of the story of Moses and Pharaoh with the truth for people who believe. Pharaoh exalted himself in the earth and made its people castes. A tribe among them he oppressed. It's very interesting. They have completely ignored to name the tribe, which is Israel. But a tribe among them he oppressed, killing their sons and sparing their women. He was of those who work corruption, and we desired to show favor to those who were oppressed in the earth, and to make them examples, and to make them the inheritors. Who are supposed to be the inheritors? According to your own Quran, it's supposed to be the nation of Israel, who you fight against these days, very unfortunately. Let's go on. And to establish them in the earth.
Stop.
And to establish them in the earth, and to show.
Why the dig?
And to show.
Why the dig?
One
If you
sec.
have something valuable to say, why the dig?
Why the what?
Why the dig? Yeah. Oh, so the people that you fight today. Why is that comment needed? If you have something worthy to prove.
The worthy thing I'm trying to mention to you
carry
is,
on.
it seems like, according to your Quran, Surah 28, Ayah 5, Israel are supposed to be inheritors. Do you respect that? I'm assuming you don't, which is what I see in politics across the world today, which is a shame.
Religion is,
Politics today is realistic. Religion is, of course, fantastic. Fantasy. And that's why they're different according to you.
Right.
Verse number 6.
If you're going
and to establish
comment
them.
on your presumptions.
One second. To establish them in the earth, and to show Pharaoh and Haman and their forces that which they feared from them. Who is this Haman? This Haman, by the way.
He says it's his minister.
Haman is his minister. Is there a Haman in recorded history who was a minister of a pharaoh?
So simply because something is not written, simply because if something is not written in history, does it mean it's false?
No, to me, this is interesting.
So no.
To me,
Okay, carry on.
to me, this is interesting because Haman is a character in the Bible, and Haman doesn't go hand in hand with the Pharaoh. He comes much later during the time of the book of Esther.
And this goes back.
1 second.
No. Because I see
Haman and their
Arul,
forces.
I see where you're going with this.
No.
You are going to make a comparison between the Quranic narrative and the biblical narrative and say that the Quran is wrong because the Bible said so.
Well, that's
where
part.
you're going.
That's part of what I'm going to say.
I said this from the beginning.
That's part.
I said this from the
That's
beginning.
part of what I'm going to say.
Arul, from the beginning of this conversation, I already unlocked what you were about to do. Okay, you're implying that the Bible is reliable and a reliable source of information. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tried to copy from the Bible, got it
It's about
wrong.
surah,
Hence,
it's
the
about
Quran is
particular
not the word of God.
Well,
That's
if
what
you
you're
need help,
getting at.
jump in,
Now,
yeah?
the Quran, when it speaks of the
Ah,
Torah,
okay.
it
But
does
I'm
not
sure you
refer
will
to
say
the
yes,
Old
huh?
Testament. So using the Old Testament as a standard
Vidash.
upon which the Quran is talking about is a fallacy.
So
It
let-
doesn't work.
So let's put it this way, yeah.
You're ignoring me completely.
No, I listened to.
Right, so what did I say? What did I say?
I'm not here to repeat what you said.
No, if I'm testing what you're listening.
I'm not testing you on anything. I'm just asking you for you to respond. You're not here to test me. You're asking me. Let me
Then
respond.
we shall finish. No, we should finish.
If that's how you want to end the conversation, that's
Yes.
up to you.
Yes.
But my point is this.
No, because
in
I'll
human
make it-
history,
we have to go based on the foundation of the clay.
you made
the foundation of the
you
clay
made a
does
point.
not
You
work.
made a point. I'm responding to that now.
No, I did not make a point. I told you exactly what you're going to do.
Which is
and
a point,
And I'm
and
telling
I'm trying
you,
to respond
and
to you
I
now.
have told you that it will not work because the Old Testament is not the criteria upon where the stories come from.
I heard you. You're repeating that.
Yes, I know.
I'm going to respond to you now.
Go,
On that,
please.
yeah. So in human history, I don't know if you know about the manuscriptal evidence that we have for the Old Testament. Do you know at all?
I know a
about
little
that? Like, do you know any names of manuscripts at all? Or?
Well, apart from the Dead Sea Scrolls, not much. I'm still studying that, to be honest.
So so maybe that's something you really need to study because you're making very, very serious points about the Bible, rejecting it, and therefore I'm hoping you would study about the manuscriptal evidence, even of the Old Testament, before you make that point. Which, if you haven't done so far, that's fine, but please do. Now the point is this.
Clarifying.
What's that?
Yeah, just because I haven't studied all the manuscripts does not mean I haven't studied enough to know that the Old Testament is not the original Torah given to Moses.
So
That the Quran
have you
speaks of.
studied the Dead Sea Scrolls?
So I studied part of them, yeah, some of them.
Which ones? Which scrolls?
In terms of names, I don't know names. So particularly, I'll focus
genuinely,
on particularly
hand on
Isaiah
heart.
42 and Isaiah 53 when it came to the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So two chapters.
Yes, because
And you're rejecting.
That's part of what I'm currently studying. When I move on to my next portion of my studies, I will look into it.
So can I please put it this way? Yeah, the Old Testament has plenty of books. Yeah, 39.
Right. How many of them?
One
How
second.
many of them?
One
is
second,
Torah?
please.
How many?
1 second, please. The Old Testament has 39 books. Plenty of chapters.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Studying,
right. No, I think-
studying manuscriptal evidence just for 2 chapters, and then you said you've studied enough to conclude. I'm going to suggest to you studying manuscriptal evidence for 2 chapters.
No.
Well, how much have you studied to
Hold
come
on.
to the conclusion that what we have
in terms
today
of
is
the Dead
not
Sea Scrolls, in
reliable?
terms of the Dead Sea
Yeah,
Scrolls,
Yeah.
okay, I've studied those 2 particular chapters.
Yeah, any other
Now-
manuscripts? Yeah. So you
Now, hold on,
concluded
hold on.
that what we have today is
If I'm
not the
gonna-
Torah.
If I'm not going to speak, there's no point.
You concluded that what we have today is not the Torah. Please explain how you came to that conclusion.
Right, okay. In terms of studying the Tanakh, so the Torah, the
Nevi'im,
Nevi'im
Ketuvim.
and the Ketuvim,
Yeah.
so the prophets' writings and so on and so forth, and looking at it from a monotheistic position, particularly because that's what I'm basing my.
I'm
studies
talking about
on. Hold on,
manuscripts
hold on,
now, yeah.
hold on. I'm saying why I'm looking at these in a specific kind of way,
Okay,
and
yeah.
why I haven't explored it further. Okay, I have seen inconsistencies throughout the history of the writings, as well as commentaries such like with the 12 Minor Prophets by Michael B. Shepherd, commentaries on how the Torah developed over time in terms of its writings. So when it comes to monotheism, we see that certain things within the Old Testament do not line up with what would have been taught by the prophets. It goes off on a stem, and
I'm hoping somewhere at some stage you'd be talking about manuscriptal evidences. Somewhere.
I'm just
So
explaining
no,
why.
you concluded
Okay, yes.
the Torah
Not
we have
ju-
today is
just-
not the historical Torah.
Not just from
It
manuscripts.
has something to do with manuscripts.
No, that's what
No?
you brought in. Not just manuscripts.
How precisely are you concluding that the Torah we have today
There are many-
is not the Torah of history? How?
Many studies.
How?
Okay?
How?
All right, I've looked at the Targums as well. Okay, I've looked at the.
You're just throwing in more names here.
No, yeah, well, you're
Give me
asking
the
me what-
logic.
you're asking me- you're
How
asking
do you conclude that the Torah we have today is not the Torah that Moses had? How did you conclude that?
Okay. First of all, when we look at, you said 39 books in the Old Testament, right? And would you consider that to be the Torah?
That's Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Torah are the 5 books. Okay. Now,
I don't know where this question is.
No.
How did you
The Torah,
conclude?
the Torah you're saying are
Yeah.
the 5 books, okay?
Yeah.
Now we know somewhere in Deuteronomy, what they call it, Moses died, so clearly that's not from him, okay? Now, straight away we can see something fishy going on here, all right? So
I don't see anything
well, if
fishy or
Moses,
sharky or
if
nothing
Moses
going on.
died and then we suddenly have the remaining parts of Deuteronomy, where did that come from? Who wrote it?
Where did
Okay.
Quran come from?
Where's the Quran? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Did he write this heading here?
No, he didn't.
So how did this?
That's
so have you got an
a
Arabic Quran? Can I please have that?
translation.
An Arabic Quran. Is this Arabic Quran from Allah?
Huh?
Is this Arabic Quran from
The
Allah?
Arabic in this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So that's Arabic. Is that from Allah?
Now you're just demonstrating your lack of knowledge of the
No, no,
Quran.
no. You said if anything shows up.
No. Stop,
If,
stop,
no,
stop.
you said.
No, he asked me. Is this from Allah? Now, is this the Quran?
The question
No,
to
no,
you.
no,
The question to you was simple. The question to you is simple. You said there are brief portions in Deuteronomy which obviously record the death of Moses.
Yes.
And so your point.
who
One
recorded
second. Your point there was, of course Moses could not have written it, and therefore it's already a fishy thing.
Clearly.
Of course Allah couldn't have written it, and therefore this is already fishy. But this is Arabic.
No,
Let
see,
me
your
take.
logic-
Let's take one. We can read. Is that from Allah?
What does that say?
I don't know. You tell
Right,
me.
okay. That
You
says-
tell me. Is
this
that from Allah?
This says Al-Quran Al-Kareem.
Is the
Okay?
Bible
Now-
Is
from
that from
Jesus?
Allah?
Is the Bible from Jesus?
No, hold on.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
So your point, in other words, I'm making a simple point here.
You're not
your
making a
point.
point. You're
Your
trying to
point.
rebut me with something.
Your point
What is
in
wrong?
saying, your
Okay,
point.
now hold on.
Your point in saying Moses' death being recorded in Torah means.
Let him speak.
Your point.
Let him speak.
Your
Indeed,
point.
look, Rasul alayhi salam.
One
Second.
second.
No, hold on. I don't want to.
Finish your point.
Salam once he had a man come to him and he spoke absolute nonsense. He stayed quiet, listened to him, waited.
Well, that's not what you find through the history of Muhammad.
Waited for him to finish.
That's
And then
a
he
very
said, "Are you
interesting
finished?"
point.
So
That's not.
let him finish,
Yeah.
and then I will respond.
Well,
inshallah.
I quite value in you wanting to listen, but don't ever say that was Muhammad's attitude. It isn't clearly, and we know details of Muhammad's history, but that's for another day's debate. Let's come back to this point. Your point in saying Muhammad's death is recorded in the Torah, and therefore Torah could not. Moses. Sorry, I apologize. Moses' death being recorded in Torah means Torah was not written by Moses, and that being fishy to me is not a logical point. Of course, the nation of Israel.
Stop.
One second. Of course,
Moses is dead. The remaining parts of Deuteronomy are suddenly there, and you're saying Moses written, or it was
No,
revealed to Moses?
what I'm saying is just like how you have a book in your hand, with portions in the book, in the front page, back page, index page, preface,
we know where it
and
came from.
One second.
We know where it came from.
1 second does not mean that the entire book isn't from came through Muhammad in the 7th century. But let's get back to the main point.
Here's the fallacy in that.
I'm waiting. No.
What's the main point? What's the main point, Arul?
You want to make
The main point.
Yeah, what's the main
Torah.
point?
You want to
How
make-
do you please carry on with your point there. Torah. You were saying the Torah we have today is not the Torah of Moses, and I'm waiting to listen for an answer. You telling me Moses' death being recorded there is irrelevant. Of course, the nation of Israel knows it. The nation of Israel have had that book for a couple of millennia. They're not fools.
couple of million years?
Millennia, yeah.
Or millennia?
Millennia, yeah. A couple of dozen years.
I thought you meant millions. Yes, I was like, well,
Millennia is thousand.
No, I get it. I just didn't understand your
Apologies.
No need to apologize. It's your right.
So let's come back to this. Don't make that point again. Give me solid reason for you to say the Torah that we have today is not the Torah of
The
Moses.
reason I gave you was just one reason. I have many
Anything
reasons,
else?
but that's not the.
Yeah,
that's
wait.
not-
I
that is
have
not-
all the time. Please let me know other reasons.
Unfortunately, I don't, because I actually came to give a gift to someone. Sorry.
Genuinely, do you have any other reason?
Huh?
Do you know of any
Yes,
other
like I
reason?
said, I studied the Targum, I studied the Dead Sea Scrolls. I buy.
You seem like a very learned man. You should remember at least 2 or 3 reasons. What are the other reasons?
Like I said to you at the start, I am a student. I am not a scholar.
You read the Targum and
Dead Sea Scrolls.
Commentaries and
the Masoretic-
studying Dead Sea
I've looked-
Scrolls.
I've looked at the Masoretic text.
and you're telling me
been
Moses'
to the
death is
rabbis.
recorded, and that any Muslim who's walking around the park would be able to say, do you know of any scholarly comment that you could make, reason that you could give to establish that the Torah that we have today is not the Torah of Moses?
Yes, and I'm actually doing my studies on it, which is why I cannot provide the stuff on the top of my head because I'm still studying.
So
When
in
you're
other
still-
words,
hold
you
on,
don't know.
Hold on, no. Okay, so
If you can't say
wait,
that
wait,
now-
wait, stop. So I tell you I'm studying, and then you come back and say I don't know.
Which is the same thing.
No, it's not the same.
If you are saying I can't give it now because only now I'm studying,
Because my
it means
memory.
I don't
Because
know
there's a
now.
lapse in memory in terms of names, references. That's all it is.
So wait a second. So what you are saying is you've taken a very bold step to say the Torah we have today is not the
And
Torah.
when I gave you one
is not,
reason, you just
Any
dismissed
Tom,
it
Dick and Harry could say that.
No, when I gave you a reason,
Any
no, but
Tom-
this is not a reason.
Let me ask you another thing.
I plucked out of the air.
It's a reason that you plugged out of
no,
internet.
No,
All
no, it's not.
Islamic
No,
polemic
it's not.
sources, that's where you plugged that out of.
Right, so now you're assuming where I get my information from.
I'm asserting
You're-
that.
no, you're-
I'm asserting
sorry,
that. Where
you're
did you get the
asserting-
information from?
By reading the Bible. I have the Bible at home in English and Arabic.
So now,
Right.
if
Do you
I
wanna
could
take-
ask
do
me
you
one
wanna
more,
take that
if
back?
I could ask you,
Do you want to take that back?
well, you haven't contradicted what I said.
Yes, sir.
You didn't. Did you plug the point from internet?
No.
You reading the Bible does not contradict that point. Yeah. So if you're saying that's fine. If you're saying you did not take that point from the internet, that's fine. I take my point back. No problem. Yeah. So let me ask you another question, please. Yeah. So you're studying now. You don't remember, but maybe next week. Maybe next week you can come to us with more logical points as to why the Torah.
Wait, stop. When you say more logical, you're making it sound like I haven't made a single logical point. When Moses is dead, okay, you're telling me that Moses died and still the remaining of the revelation of the Torah was given to him while he was dead. Is that correct?
Who wrote it? So to me, it seems like if a writer writes a book, if a writer writes a book,
No, I'm asking about the revelation of the Torah given to Moses after he's dead.
and that's
Is that what happened?
that. Now, let me finish. To me, it seems perfectly reasonable for a book which could be written by someone when he is alive, and by the time he finishes that, he dies, and for his close associate to pick that up, pick what he has, wrap that up with nice conclusions and give it to the people. To me, that seems perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable.
No, I agree.
I don't know what
I
problem.
agree with you. I agree with you.
And
That
I
is
don't
perfectly
know.
reasonable.
Let
Where's
me
the evidence?
finish. Let me finish. I don't know from there how you can get to the point of saying the rest of the book, which the nation of Israel took to be from Moses, is suddenly not from Moses. How do you make that point? I don't know.
Well, I'll explain.
Please explain.
Now you made the point that possibly it was whoever was writing it kept writing what was revealed. Then he died, and then revealed. Now
That's obviously how the nation of Israel would see it. Yeah, go on.
That's what they would say. What does the evidence say? Now,
Tell me, please.
what do you call it? If you're saying that someone has wrote this while he was alive, you're telling me that someone has written that he died at a particular point of time while he was still alive, and then continued to write afterwards, and then Moses died.
Of course, after he
That
died,
makes no sense.
No one said.
That makes no sense.
No one said a
I
dead
haven't
man
finished
wrote.
my answer.
No one said
I
that.
never said that a dead man wrote. You're not listening to me. You're not listening.
Let me listen to you.
Okay. I listen to you to a point where I can correct you when you mistake a name.
I'm going to listen to you.
I need you to pay attention, please. Okay. Now, like I said, if you said that it's perfectly reasonable for someone to write this book, yeah, and then Moses dies afterwards. Yeah. Now, the question I have then is, how does someone write this, then say Moses died, and then continue to write while Moses is still alive? And then Moses
What was continued to be
died?
written? How much was continued to be written?
Even if it was a chapter.
Yeah. So that's what I said. Add a conclusion, wrap it up. That's what I said.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do you know that whoever the scribe is wrote it, dictated it, wrote what Moses dictated?
So in other words, you're asking me a question. You haven't got a conclusion. Which is
I'm
why I
rebutting-
said
I
earlier
am
that you
rebutting
haven't
your
got a
claim.
lot.
Bro,
I'm
you don't
rebutting
answer
your
the
claim,
question.
which is based
Why don't
purely
you answer the
on
question?
assumptions.
Let me-
It's purely
Let me
on assumptions. You have no solid
ask
evidence
this
for the
question
claim.
again. Let me ask this question again. Yeah.
You won't answer
When
the
I
question.
when
You
I
know this
challenged
one.
you, what's your name? Sorry.
Mohammed.
When you earlier in a public place like Hyde
He's
Park,
gonna repeat it
you
over
stood
and over
here.
again.
Excuse me, sir. You can move on if you're not happy.
No, I'm happy.
Then stay quiet, please. Thank you.
Khalid.
So,
Khalid.
Muhammad, earlier in a public place, you made a claim, and the claim was The Torah that we have today is not the Torah of
I didn't
Moses.
just make it on public. I made it on camera as well. I
Yeah,
will never
good.
make a claim
So-
unless I'm certain.
Yeah,
of that
well,
claim.
of course,
And
that's
I am-
what I'm trying to investigate. If
Right.
you're certain or
And
not,
you're not- and
and
you're-
there, I don't see any reason.
Right, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
No, let me finish.
No, no, no.
Let me
No,
finish.
no, no, no,
Let me
because
finish.
You're
Let me finish.
repeating my claim to me.
I'm not.
No.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
عارف بس خلينا أخلص معه هذه مرة.
English. He speaks English. I speak English.
Okay.
You can speak in English.
I
No
said I will
problem.
let you finish.
Yeah.
And then I'll go.
Okay. So, point is simple, Mohammed.
I will never insult you behind your back. Yeah.
Don't
In fact,
worry,
I will
I-
never insult you.
I did
because
not-
that is not the character that a Muslim should have based upon the Quran and the Sunnah.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. Don't make fantasy points here.
Chapter 49 verse 11.
We know the character of who you call a prophet. We know it. We study the details. We study the details of his character. We can
Have you
debate
studied-
on that later.
No.
We can
I will ask you one
debate on that
question. I will
later.
ask you one question.
We can debate on that
I
later.
will ask you one question to
let's-
test it.
No, I
No,
want
because
to.
he knows he knows he
I
failed the test. You will fail this
I
test.
want
don't
to
you let
stick
him
to
a- why
our
don't you let him
previous
ask you a
point,
question?
and that is
I
very
will go
important.
back to it.
So
you are making a claim.
you-
Arul,
keep
you
quiet.
are
Mohammed,
making,
Mohammed,
you
please.
are making
keep
a
quiet.
claim.
Mohammed.
When I make a claim, I back it up.
Yeah, you keep
Where?
quiet now.
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
No,
You
no,
made a
you've made-
claim. You made a
No,
claim
no, stop,
saying
stop, stop, stop.
the Torah
We need-
that
time
we
out,
have today.
Time out.
No time out.
There's time out, because
You
we need to go
said
back.
the Torah that we have here today is not the Torah that Moses
Yes,
had.
then I told you
and the
that-
number of reasons you
don't
gave
you let
so
him
far
talk?
for that is
Why
just one. And the
keep-
one
if
reason
you
you
keep
gave
quiet-
was that the Torah, of course,
If you
records
keep quiet,
the fact
he'll give you
that
another reason.
Moses died. And that I agree with. And I just gave you a suggestion to say a book could very legitimately be written by someone who, and at the end of his writing, he might die, and his close companion could pick that up, finish that up with a nice conclusion, and hand it over as the book of the first person. Quite legitimate. I don't see any problem with that. And that is the only point you brought in to suggest the Torah that we have today is not the Torah from Moses. I'm not happy with that particular point. The listeners, they can evaluate if they're happy with the reason you gave. The question to you is, have you got any other reason? Because you said you won't make a point in public if you can't back that up. Have you got any point, reasonable point, which you can make now, apart from what you tried making earlier, to suggest the Torah that we have today is not the Torah of Moses?
Can you keep quiet for a little while?
Right. I'm not going to ask you to remain quiet while I speak. That is up to you, and it will just showcase the difference between the teachings of our religions. Okay?
I'm waiting for an answer. Let's. We don't have much time. Let's get on with the answer.
I recall you earlier saying you have all day.
Oh, I have all day.
Right, okay.
But let's
So-
keep the
right,
ball
okay.
rolling, please.
So you cannot contradict yourself in the same setting. Now, when I made the claim that it is not from Moses, it's not what was originally revealed to Musa alayhi salam, yeah? I said that there are many reasons, but one that came to mind that we can look at now is the fact that that is written that he died in Deuteronomy. This is not a fantasy claim. It is there in Deuteronomy. He's dead. Okay? So where does the rest of Deuteronomy come from? Okay, that's the question I asked. You came with something that could make sense. Okay? Could make sense. However, you have nothing to back that on. It is purely on assumption. You have no hard evidence to say that this is what happened. And even if you had hard evidence to suggest that someone wrote it on behalf of Moses, you have no evidence to say that what he wrote is exactly what Moses dictated from Revelation. You don't have any evidence for that. That's what. So that point stands. Secondly, again, going back to your premise when we first started this conversation, when you come to us with stories on the Quran and say, well, it's wrong because the Bible said something different. A, it's circular reasoning. B, it's fallacious.
Muhammad, I'm looking for an answer for the question I asked you.
wait.
And the question I asked you
Why
was
don't
simple.
you let him finish?
Can you please give reasons to say why you think the Torah of today is not the Torah of Moses?
I know what your question was. I haven't forgotten your question. I'm rebutting what you were saying earlier because it became quite disputing and we were talking over each other. So
Somewhere down the line you'd answer my question, I'm assuming. Would you be answering my question? Somewhere.
I'm explaining myself. And then I will answer. like I said, going back to your first principle. The first principle was A, circular reasoning. B, fallacious, because when you study the Quran, you do not study it under any sort of reasoning like, oh, well, the Bible said something different. That's not how you study the Quran. Okay, the Quran says something about the Torah.
Go on, so I'm listening.
So the Quran, when it refers to the Torah, it refers to the original revelation given to Musa alayhi salam. This is why in the 6 pillars of faith, when we claim that we believe in the scriptures of the prophets, we say so in saying that we believe in the original revelation, not what we have today, apart from the Quran at least. Okay, like for example, the scrolls of Abraham we do not have today, yet we still believe in it. Okay, the revelation given to Noah we don't have it today, yet we still believe in it. In any way, shape or form that the revelation came to these prophets, we believe in that. Okay. Now, going back to, can I provide any other evidence?
Yep, that's what I'm eagerly waiting for. Yeah.
Right, okay. Have you listened to anything I said previously?
I did, yeah, I did. But I'm going to get back to that later. It's irrelevant for our current conversation.
It's not, because
you're trying. It doesn't matter.
You're trying to.
Why Torah today is not the Torah of Moses?
You're trying to move forward a discussion based upon a fallacious argument to begin with. That doesn't work. This is what I'm trying to get to you. Now, why I haven't given any other evidence regarding the Torah specifically, as apart from the writings of the prophets, is, like I said, I'm still studying.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't know. It's not that I haven't studied enough to come to a conclusion. It's just that the references, I cannot remember them at this point in time.
So your problem is purely memory for today.
Yes.
So today you're saying you're only able to give one reason, which I don't think is a valid reason, and you're saying purely because of lack of memory you can't give. Maybe next week. Maybe next week you can give more reasons. Yeah. When you're here next, maybe next week or so, you can study, get more scholarly reasons to see why the Torah that we have today is not the Torah of Moses.
Just one comment.
Yeah.
For you to come to me and say, Muhammad, you need to go back and get some scholarly reasons to come and debate the reliability of the Torah, or the fact that the Torah is from Moses, is quite ironic, because when I gave you the reason, you came up with a purely, kind of it was just a presumptuous answer. There was no fact behind it at all. So your rebuttal to my claim, which is hard evidence within the scripture that you possess today, you rebutted that with something that doesn't exist at all. Just maybe this, maybe that.
I don't know how much you know about logic. Yeah, I deal with logic day in, day out in my work. I know how it works. Let's get on. Let's get on with this. Let's get on with this. So today you're not able to present. Today.
I know that's where he's going.
Today.
I've stated it very clearly.
My dear friend, Muhammad. Today.
1 minute. The man simply asked him, what evidence have you got that the Torah is corrupt? He's given no evidence.
He has.
He's got lack of a memory all of a sudden.
He told him.
All of a sudden.
No. You were patiently listening, sir. Don't. If you truly believe in who you think is God, stick to truth. If you don't know how to stick to truth, stay quiet.
Who wrote the rest of it? Just answer me that question.
Coming back.
No, you won't answer my question, will you?
Coming back.
Bro.
Biblical scholars consider it to be Joshua. Do you know the name Joshua?
Prove it.
Well, what do you mean prove?
Prove that he wrote it.
I'm not here to prove to you anything, sir. I'm here to make points here. If you can
scholarly argument. Where's your scholarly argument?
Go home,
study in detail. We got the proof. The proof has been handed down through those
scholarly proof.
Are you here to prove your claims, or just make points and walk away?
Scholarly proof.
In the entire realm of knowledge, there are only some areas which are theoretical fields where anyone can prove anything. Apart from one second. When you move away from theory, come to practice, you can only provide evidences, provide reasonable conclusions for people to then evaluate. I can't say I have proved and that's it, I'm moving. I can't do it. I can only provide evidences, logical reasons. Now, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I asked you for why you was 1 second, sir. I asked you for the reason as to why you say the Torah we have today is not the Torah of Moses. You said you're going to come back to us later to give evidences. That's fine. Well, God willing. So I'm looking forward to it. The next time we see each other, hopefully you'll be able to give us some evidence. Number two, can I ask you another side of the same story sort of question. The other side of the same story. So the Torah that we have today, the Bible that we carry, you can't comment on that. Using the scrolls, that's fine. The Torah you have in your mind, the imaginary Torah you have in your mind, have you got any manuscriptal evidence for that at all?
No.
None at all. In other words, I'm quite justified in calling that an imaginary Torah that you have in your mind.
Well, by that logic, I can say to you, well, you believe in an imaginary God.
No, my God showed up on the face of the earth. That's not what we're talking about. If you're talking about the Torah today, the Torah that we have today, I can provide you manuscriptal evidences. You're of course not prepared to talk about that today, which is fine. We'll do that some other day. I can talk to you about the manuscriptal evidence that we have here.
Talk to me about the manuscript evidence.
I'll come back to that later. No, you're running away. You're running away from the previous point.
I am.
Have you got? Have you? Let's
talk to me about the manuscript.
So we spoke about two sides. We spoke about two sides of a story of a point you raised earlier. You came here. You said you won't make any point unless you can provide evidence.
So you
but
provide
then
the evidence.
you haven't got
you
haven't got any evidence for the imaginary Torah.
I gave one piece of hard evidence that
for the imaginary Torah.
You couldn't reply back.
For the imaginary, it's not imaginary because
the Torah you have in your mind. The Torah which doesn't agree with this.
It's not imaginary because I believe
Well, if there is no evidence, it's called imaginary, isn't it?
Why don't you let him
No.
finish?
Lack of evidence doesn't mean there is no evidence.
That's an argument from science.
If you can't, excuse me, if you can't,
Fallacious argument after fallacious
excuse me,
argument.
hey Mohammed, how are you doing?
How are you? You right?
Hey, by God's grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
So, catch up with you a bit later.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So my point is this: when you can't provide any evidence,
What
the
evidence
point
have you
you are
provided?
making is purely in your mind.
No.
Imaginary.
Because-
you are imagining it. You can't
Lack of
provide
evidence doesn't mean there's no evidence.
What did
I
Just
did
the man
not.
can't
What
bring it
I,
up now.
Excuse me,
evidence
I'm
have you
not asking you to
provided?
arbitrate.
All right.
I'm just justifying the word imaginary.
What have you
It's just in your
provided?
imagination,
I know
no
the
evidence.
definition.
That's
I know
what
the
I meant.
definition.
What have
Now-
you provided?
No,
Now-
stop.
So you
On that
can't
one point,
provide.
stop.
You can't.
What have you provided?
Right. You're saying if I have no evidence, it's imaginary. It's a fairy tale. Okay. Right. No.
I said
Stop,
if you can't
stop,
provide
stop.
evidence,
I'm not
it's
finished.
in your imagination,
I'm not finished.
imaginary.
I'm not finished.
Yeah.
Now, when I said to you that it is hard evidence that Moses died in the Old Testament as you have it today, that is hard evidence. We can see it. Okay. And then I questioned who wrote the rest of it. You came with a theory. Can you prove that theory? If you cannot prove that theory, then it's in your imagination.
Now, I think you're getting a
He won't even
basic
go there.
fundamental
He won't go
point.
there. He won't go there.
Muhammad,
He'll never go there.
Muhammad, I think you're missing deliberately a very fundamental point that I'm making.
What point?
Who translated this
He's going
Quran?
back to the front.
The man on the front of the chair.
Who is that?
Muhammad Bukhari.
Do you think he formatted the front page?
No, it's okay.
Do you think he gave the barcode?
Such a stupid
So he obviously didn't give, yet we think the book
Talking
was
about the
translated
content.
by
We're
him.
talking about the content.
I'm talking about the content. Is
That's
that not
the
content?
That's the cover.
Oh, so you can give a cover to a book which someone else translates. You can do it.
Cover.
What did I say earlier? Moses
After he
could
died, someone.
Moses
That's the content.
could receive
That's the
a
content.
excuse me, sir, you're
Keyword.
repeating yourself.
Keyword. Could. Where's the
Moses
evidence?
Good.
Keyword. Could.
like I said,
By who?
Then it's an imaginary.
do you know about Septuagint?
I know a little bit.
How much do you know?
Not much.
So,
I said to you at the start, I am a student.
Muhammad,
If I don't know something,
Muhammad,
I will not-
Muhammad,
that's
you
fine,
said
it's good.
just a minute ago, give me the evidence. And I didn't give the evidence purely because you can't grapple with it. Septuagint.
Oh
know?
my God! How do you know?
Well, I
that?
just explained to you. Septuagint, do you know?
Greek Septuagint. What about it?
Do you know about it?
I know about
He
it.
knows some.
Yeah.
He
How
said
much,
some.
what do you know about
No,
it?
why don't you tell him what you want to tell him?
Yeah, just say
And
your
then
point.
he'll
It's
tell
not
you
say
what he
your
knows.
point.
Say your
What
point.
do you know
No,
about
why
it?
don't
Say
you
your
tell
point.
him?
No, no.
If I don't
No,
know,
you
I
tell
will
him.
say to you, look,
It's such a big
Do
subject.
you know roughly when it was translated?
roughly,
250 BC.
no.
Yes.
Excuse me. Can I please have a sensible conversation?
Well, anyway, no, I can't.
In other words, when I say these things, you wouldn't be ready to rebut, and that's precisely why
assumption.
I'm saying
At least I answered
this
your
is
question.
not an
When you
assumption.
made- when you made-
Septuagint.
when you
We
made
know
the
about
claim-
Masoretic text.
Yes, I know about the Masoretic.
And
Now,
when does that come from?
Are you testing his memory or
Yeah,
something?
no. The
Where
thing
does
is,
that come from?
Stop, no. When I wanted to test you about how much knowledge you had on Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you refused. You refused to test.
Let's
Now
ask
when
you
you
some
tested
questions.
me, you want
Because
me
we
to pass the
began
test.
with the point
No,
of Torah
you made a
and the
claim.
evidences that
Before
back up
you
the
are
Torah.
so
Before you
bad
made a
at
claim.
arguing.
I don't want to move to some other point before we finish this.
Your
And that is why
your
I avoided
debating
that.
skills are
No.
terrible.
That's not why you It was one
Where did we
point.
begin the
It was one
conversation?
point.
We
It
began
was
the conversation.
with a fallacious point.
That's your conclusion. We
No, it's
began
not
a point.
conclusion.
We began.
You are making a comparison.
Who
Stop, stop,
wrote
stop.
precisely?
You're making
We
a
began-
comparison. You're making
we
a
began the
comparison.
conversation.
You're making a comparison between the Quran
Yep.
and the
We
Old
began-
Testament. Hold on.
Go on.
Hold on.
Go on.
You're making a comparison between the Old Testament and the Quran, assuming.
Yep.
Again, keyword, assuming
Yep.
that the Torah that the Quran talks about is the Old Testament. Now, straight
And
off
that
the
is
back-
where we began.
Straight
And
off
that
the
is
back.
what- that is my point.
That's where I
Finish.
wanted you to stop, because you then need to go back and actually look at the Quran and say, what does the Quran actually say the Torah is? Because if it's not that, there is no point comparing it to that.
No. If the Quran contradicts an established Torah for which I can provide evidences,
But you haven't
Wait,
so
wait.
far.
for which I can provide.
you haven't.
So something that's established
One
is
second.
automatically true?
You haven't.
Is something established automatically true?
Can I finish my previous point?
You're making. You're
Can I
throwing
finish
out-
my previous
You're
point?
throwing out
Do you
various
appreciate?
statements and
Do you?
you're not answering my rebuttals.
I use the term established for a particular reason. When I use the term established, what I mean.
You emphasized it as
Yeah.
if it's true.
Yeah, established.
Does
So I
something
can.
established is something that is established necessarily true?
Muhammad, I
I'm
can.
asking this a simple question.
I know you asked that. You're not letting me answer now.
Okay,
I'll
I'll give you the chance to answer.
I can take you through a logical process of going through the evidences that back up the Torah, and not alone the book called the Torah, but also the history of the nation of Israel as attested by archaeological artifacts outside of the Torah and the Tanakh. I can do that.
That's not the-
And
that's not the question I
And,
asked.
and
He asked you a question.
once I do that, you would also appreciate why
first,
I use the
let
term
me do this.
established. I'd like you to listen to me now.
I am.
Yeah. Once I do that, you would also appreciate why I use the term established. By established, I did not mean
No, sorry.
by established, I mean to take you through a logical process of helping you understand that the Torah and the Tanakh that we have in our hands today is quite reliable. Quite reliable.
Quite, not totally.
Quite is totally.
He's
almost.
tripping himself up.
English.
He's tripping himself up. He's using words.
Excuse me, sir,
It's
can you
reliable.
make any logical statement
I'm
that could
just
help us in our
asking, is it
conversation?
quite
here?
or is it totally reliable?
Any other sensible comments?
Is
that
it
you could add?
totally reliable or quite reliable?
Any other sensible points you could add to the conversation?
made a good
Now,
point.
going back.
Right, have you studied
Is it totally or quiet?
Targum Neophyte?
Targum Neophyte, no.
Right, okay. So now this is one of these manuscripts I have actually studied.
Targum is not a manuscript. You're talking nonsense now. What is a Targum?
The Targum, I would say Targum.
What is a Targum?
It's actually an interpretation of the.
So nothing to do with manuscript of the Torah.
No.
So
What?
what?
Right, no, correct me.
Targum is a different thing.
Right.
Yeah, you're.
No.
What is a Targum?
Hold on.
Why don't you let him answer?
No, we're talking about manuscripts of the Torah and the
Right,
Tanakh.
now the Targum,
Yeah.
okay, as well. You have the Targums, you have various Targums. Now they actually quote the translation of the
Targum is not a translation.
It's two. It's a translation of the Old Testament as well as commentary on the Old Testament.
No, that's not true. Targum is a paraphrase of the Old Testament in a native tongue. It's not a translation.
Aramaic.
In a native tongue.
A paraphrase is a completely different technical term. You can go read up on that. Don't argue with me based on something you don't know there, Mohammed. Targum is a different thing. You're talking about manuscripts of the Torah. My dear friend Mohammed, I've clarified to you. There is a difference between a translation and a paraphrasing.
I have the evidence here. He's trying to tell me.
You're not listening to me. You're not listening. Mohammed, you're not listening. There is a difference between Mohammed, there is a difference between a translation and paraphrasing.
Translation
Is different.
For word, abridged.
No.
A paraphrasing.
No, yeah, I know. That's what it is. No, I know
A
that.
paraphrasing is not necessarily abridged. A paraphrasing is essentially
I have the evidence on my
saying
phone.
this.
Another language. At the end of the day, it's not Hebrew.
He just deviates. He's a deviator.
Another language.
Anyway, let's put it this way. We're talking about manuscripts.
But he's playing some
Mohammed,
He plays semantics all
we're
the time.
talking about manuscripts of the Torah,
you've
and
said
I'm
that
boldly asserting
14
before
times
you, Targums are independent books. Of course, they are.
Yes, I
when
know
you
they're
find
after.
manuscripts of
I
them,
know
they
they're
are
after.
different books. Yeah, different.
No, I know they came from.
Yeah, they're not manuscripts of the Torah.
I'm saying.
I'm talking about the Torah.
You're telling me. You're asking me about corruption. Okay.
So let me-
Even when we look at things like the Targum, we see the corruption. Yeah. For example, even
I'm not talking about the Targum here. I'm talking about the Tanakh. Why are you talking about the Targum? I really don't know.
Because
Unless you're
saying
confused between
what
the
you have
Tar-
to. Because
Yep.
what you're saying, what you have here today,
Yep.
yeah, is exactly what Moses wrote. Yeah,
Yep.
or it was dictated to Moses by God. That's your claim.
No,
Yep.
you think
Yeah,
quite
that
right.
is his claim. Okay, I'm telling you no. Now, the reason being is because some of what you find in here,
Yep.
yeah, has actually been changed previously, and
say
you
so.
see, and you see,
Say so.
and you see.
Say so.
Okay,
No,
you
you're
know what?
asserting bold things
I'm not,
here.
I'm not
Why? Let
certain.
him finish.
I'm not asserting.
So changed by who?
Substantiate his claim.
Showing a targum doesn't help you in that.
Why not?
Because you haven't
Why not?
understood what a targum is. And that's why you repeat it. Let's
No.
put it this way. Today,
You're playing
let's put it
semantics,
this way.
paraphrasing, agreeing.
It's not a semantic, my dear friend.
It's still
a
translation.
completely.
It's still a translation.
It's
It is
a
a
matter.
translation.
My dear. Excuse me,
what is your
Mohammed.
targum?
Please
Direct
don't
translation.
argue.
Explain what a targum
Never
is.
played direct.
Explain what a
Saying it's
targum is.
translation, am I right?
Translation is wrong.
what a
Paraphrasing,
targum
paraphrasing
Why you
is
say
a different process
But it's
to
trying to
translation.
explain also
Precise.
at the same
It's-
time what is in the Bible. So
In
it's
our
not a
Saudi-
There are
translation.
actually no. That's
In us-
there are separate parts of the Targum.
The thing is, what date is that manuscript? It's many,
Doesn't
many
matter.
years after.
Studying it to you.
This is corrupt.
Mohammed,
You know what I'm talking about.
Mohammed.
Give me an example.
Yeah.
Or give him an example why you think it's
Why are you bringing in a targum when we are talking
Why are
about
you telling him
manuscripts
what he
of
can
the
and what he
Tanakh?
can't bring
Why?
in?
So here, yeah, there's
Who
your
are you to
footnote.
dictate this conversation?
Yeah, so that's what it is. Okay?
You can't make that
Paper boy,
choice.
don't let him get on to that. Why are
No,
you bringing in
I'm
a...
showing him that I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking
You're,
to you.
you're talking about a targum. If you know anything about the targum, you should not be bringing in a targum when we're talking about manuscripts for the Tanakh. You should not be.
He's using this as evidence.
But this is the thing. Because just so quickly, this is talking about Genesis.
Yes,
But
which
then
is part of
in the Torah, it
No, no.
doesn't say with wisdom and the memory.
Yeah, that's the
why it's a
paraphrasing.
paraphrasing.
That's a paraphrasing.
No, but what I'm showing, is that the Torah, as we have it, as you have it today, okay, is not what was given to Moses.
And
There
what is
hold on,
your
hold on,
evidence?
because
You show-
there are several things that have been put into it,
as?
and interpreted into it,
Such as.
Evidence.
Yeah, but
what
yeah,
about your
yeah.
targum?
So are you
Why you
saying
repeating
the
that?
Torah
No, but I'm
used
saying
to say
this-
the Memra created the world?
No.
So that's
I'm
what I'm
saying
saying.
Wait a minute,
I'm saying
you bring up this
interpretation.
document, yeah? What date is that document? That
No,
manuscript.
date doesn't matter.
What's the oldest
Date
date?
does not matter
You're
at
talking
all.
a thousand years
My
ago
dear
after.
friend,
No,
the date does
After the
not.
manuscripts of
The
Moses.
date
This
does
could be
not.
corrupt.
No,
The Dead Sea Scrolls
the
themselves
date
are a thousand
does
years
not
old.
matter at all. The targum. Don't let him move away from what we're talking about here, please.
That's why we have the canon churches.
Excuse me, you're making
Where
a
is the
point
first
that's not
manuscript
relevant
of
there.
Moses?
A targum, by definition,
Tell me the date
by
of the
def-
first manuscript of Moses.
Sammy, well, you can try someone else, Sammy.
No, teach me please.
Targum,
Teach me please.
a
Teach me
targum
please.
is not a translation, period. You can't show
you made a
content from
mistake.
targum to comment about the validity of the content of the Tanakh. You simply can't.
Give me a single proof where Moses he was reading from Torah who you have today.
Deliberately.
A single proof.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking
Give
about
me
a
a single
particular.
proof. Give me a single proof.
I'm not
Moses
talking
was
about, I'm
reading
not
from
talking
Torah
about
who
a
you have
particular
today.
targum. I'm talking about targums in general.
No, stop. No, please, okay.
I don't have to read. I'm making a point. I'm making
You
a
cannot
point.
make a point if you haven't even heard of it.
You're making. I'm not talking about that particular targum. But a targum. Muhammad, please listen to me carefully. Don't do that to me. Please listen to me carefully. I'm not here to waste my time. A targum. So can I please ask you one final thing? Can I please ask you one final thing? Can I please ask you
There
one
is
final
no
thing?
point because you're going to make a fallacious point by comparing that with that.
So you are
That
saying
is
a
not-
targum is a translation. You are saying Torah
Don't say what
evidences
he's saying. Why don't you
nothing.
ask him what he's saying?
You are saying
Mr. Judgment Man.
claiming that this Torah has changed. The only point you could currently give is that this records Moses' death. Those are the things
So
you
who
say.
wrote it afterward?
And based
Why
on
don't
that, you are a Muslim today.
Give us your scholarly argument about
There are
who
many
wrote
things
it.
why he's a Muslim.
Wait, do you think that's why I'm a Muslim today? No.
No, many things.
So have you ever read the?
I never even made that claim.
I know.
No, you made the claim that you are willing to. I'm assuming you believe in the Quran. So you believe in the Quran, and by doing that, you are rejecting this.
You said that 11
And
times.
when
Not holistically.
well, the particular chapter I wanted to read, Moses and the Pharaoh,
You have not got what I wanted to say from the start at all.
So Moses and the Pharaoh, why has the Quran...
Khalas, I'm done. Because you have not listened to my very first statement. Comparing this to that cannot work because you are making a fallacious argument.
And you think this is right, and that's where you are claiming implicitly that that's wrong. You're doing that,
no,
aren't you?
I'm not, because I'm not making a circular argument. I'm not saying to
This
you...
is not a circular argument.
No, hold on. I'm not making a circular argument saying the Bible is wrong because the Quran is right. I've never made that claim.
Let me put it this way.
No.
If we find...
I'm trying to finish a point. You are not allowing me to. Okay? I said, you have made a circular reasoning when you came to do your comparison. The circular reasoning was that the Quran must be wrong because the story in the Bible is different. That is your circular reasoning.
It's not circular. It's a logically linear reasoning.
No,
Let me repeat that to
you. You have no hard evidence.
Muhammad.
You have no hard evidence. You have presented no hard evidence.
Septuagint, I'm willing to talk to you in detail. Are you willing to talk about the Septuagint
Is the
now?
Septuagint revealed to Moses?
Septuagint
is the Septuagint the revelation given to Moses?
Septuagint is
I'm asking you a very particular question.
I heard your question.
No,
I heard your question.
but you're going back to the Septuagint.
I heard your question.
I don't believe you.
I began answering.
I don't believe you understood. Let me clarify.
Yes or no?
Let me clarify.
Go on.
When we talk about the Old Testament today, because you're going to come to me and talk to me about the Greek Septuagint, yeah? And this is why the Old Testament is reliable. That's where you're going.
No, don't tell me where I'm going.
I told you that in the beginning, and that's exactly where
Don't
you're
tell
going.
me where I'm going. Speak for yourself.
But you've been
I can
speaking on
speak
his
for
behalf
myself.
from the beginning.
No, I asked him questions.
Right, now, in order to say that the Greek Septuagint is reliable, you have to show me how it is exactly the same as what has been revealed to Moses. Can you do that? If you cannot, then there is no point talking to me about the Septuagint as if it is a pure revelation.
So let me... So yeah, these are the points I want to make now, Muhammad. In regards to the Bible, yeah, I think the Torah in particular.
Muhammad, what time is Maghrib? Forgot. Yeah?
Yeah. You can perhaps help him, yeah? The point I'm trying...
I can't help him, you can help himself.
You were shouting?
No, I wasn't shouting. You said that you don't let people listen.
Okay.
You don't
But
listen
can you
to
help
anyone.
him? He needs help.
This is his.
I know
his make way.
Tactics.
Yeah, manipulating.
He needs help.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing.
The only problem, I can stand next to you and give you some help.
I did not say you don't know anything. I
Yes, you
did.
did.
That. Okay. Don't tell me what I did not say. I genuinely
honestly,
think a
don't
man
waste
like
your
you.
time. It's
I
becoming
genuinely.
I'm trying to end it. I don't want to.
He won't let you end
enough
it.
to walk
He won't let
away.
you end it until he says to you, admit that your memory is bad or something. That's what he's gonna do.
Muhammad, I genuinely think
the medication.
a man like you could really go back to solid evidences and based on solid evidences
You haven't.
change course in life.
No, I have. You haven't.
In regards to the Bible.
No. When you say
In regards to the Bible.
See, look, you're going back.
In regards to the Bible.
No.
I'm not going back anymore.
No, you are going back because you're going back and saying a man like you should be able to show hard evidences. Now, I gave you a hard evidence, something that is written in this very text. Okay? And then you came back to what I said was written in this text with something that you cannot prove. So
let me ask you this question. One last time.
Again, I'm mid-sentence and you interrupt. Okay? I said to you, I gave you something hard from here, okay? Because I don't have the other material on me, I went straight to the text that you have. I said in the text.
No, you haven't.
Yes. I said.
So you haven't got any other. You haven't got
testing
any
my
other.
patience, and because I do not want to lessen my character, I'm going to end it. Arul.
So can we conclude by
concluding?
Can we conclude by saying, so far the only point you have brought up against the Torah is the fact that Moses' death is recorded here. That's the conclusion.
Today I have...
And that is the hard evidence you are upset that I didn't handle properly.
No.
As far as I remember, I handled that and I responded to that properly.
Right. No. I'm concluding that the first argument you came with started from a fallacious premise by assuming that the Quran is contradictory to the Bible and therefore wrong because the Bible is different to the Quran because the Bible is the revelation given to Moses. Secondly, when I asked you about the reliability of Moses, given this evidence that Moses died, okay, therefore who wrote the rest of it? Okay, you came back with something that was that there was no evidence for. You said could.
you didn't even let me make the point.
There were very crucial words that you said. Yeah, it's fairly possible. Could. Yeah, this is nothing that pertains to any evidence. Yes, you said it is perfectly reasonable that someone could have written it while Moses was still alive. This is, I'm paraphrasing what you're saying, but
that's not reasonable?
I never said it wasn't reasonable.
So what's your point
I
there?
said, when you talk to me about presenting hard evidence, I have given you hard evidence, something that you are touching right now. What you have given me in return is something that we cannot test.
Muhammad,
something that
let
we
me
cannot
clarify.
test. And that's what
Muhammad, let me clarify.
We are done.
Muhammad, let me clarify. My point about Moses being recorded in the Torah, Moses' death, my only point there was to suggest to you the point you raised to undermine the Bible doesn't hold water. Now, if I can make a solid
reason you gave,
and I can. If that is what you think, that's fine. Let's move on. In regards to the Bible,
Don't shake my hand. I will walk.
Okay, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But in regards to the Bible, there is a very particular solid case of reason. Manuscriptal evidences, Septuagint, Masoretic text, Vulgate, very important, and then Dead Sea Scrolls. And then on top of this, you have the Sumerian Pentateuch. And then you have manuscripts from Ethiopia. We have manuscriptal evidences that we put together, study in detail to come to a conclusion on the validity of what we have in the Tanakh, in the Old Testament. That's what we do. If you want to discuss that in detail, I'm willing to. But don't tell me.
I will make that my primary. I will leave my other studies aside.
Yeah.
I will make that my primary thing. Now, I cannot guarantee that I will be able to speak about it next week because I have 8 to 8 shifts at work. As a construction manager, I've got a handover. I've got to hand over some blocks to sell, so it's a very busy period. But when I do put my presentation together, now to give you the heads up, primarily what I will ask you about these manuscripts is how will you prove that these manuscripts trace back to the revelation given to Moses? That is the question I will ask you then. So I'm giving you a heads up now. And I will present my evidence to prove that indeed, not only has the text been corrupted, the rabbis that have interpreted the text have also corrupted the meaning of the text, as claimed in the Quran. That is what I'm going to do next week.
This
is why I'm ending.
Fine.
Right?
So the proposition I have for you is, you need to provide evidences for the actual corruption of the Tanakh.
Will do.
Of the Tanakh.
Will do.
Not Targums, not anything else, but the Tanakh.
Will do.
Not the Gemara and so on. The Tanakh.
Will do.
And you.
No. Stop. Why not the Gemara? Because that is.
They are again not the Tanakh.
But
you need to really learn.
No, they are interpreting. No, hold on.
You really need to learn what a Gemara is.
When I'm referencing something, it's because I have an idea of what it is. Now, the commentaries on the Tanakh, that have been passed down through history, they're not consistent.
They're not what?
They are not consistent, which shows, that something has happened throughout the history of the Israelites. Okay. Like I said to you.
So the proposition is simple,
The proposition that you gave to me, I gave it to you at first.
You need to show evidences for the corruption of the Tanakh.
That's what I said to you. I said I will produce.
Likewise,
I will produce evidences of corruption in the text, as well as corruption in the interpretation of the text. I will provide evidence.
Can we, in the same vein, also talk about the manuscriptal evidences for the Quran?
100%.
And its reliability.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. What's that?
You will fail.
Oh, I'm eagerly looking forward to fail.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Right.
Good to see you, Mohammed.
Good to see you.
God's blessings.
I apologize if I.
No, don't worry. I was heated a bit also. I do apologize. Don't worry.
Like I said, it is not the character of a human being and a Muslim.
That I disagree with. Yeah, you're repeating that over and over again.
Indeed, and that's why
I'm disagreeing.
That's why I reference
the character of Muhammad is on display. No. The character.
I'm trying to prove it. I'm trying to prove that.
You don't have to prove. We can do that. Did you want to talk about the character of Muhammad?
Huh?
Did you want to talk about that in detail?
Right now, no, because I said
in some other time.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, when?
Huh?
When?
After our discussion about the reliability of the Tanakh.
Okay. So no, we're doing Tanakh and the Quran. Yeah, both.
Yes, sorry, apologies. Yes, we'll do that.
And then next time we can then compare the character of Jesus and the character of Muhammad.
I'll tell you something. But I don't need to know about the character of Jesus from the biblical perspective, because I acknowledge that Jesus was one of the greatest men.
Wonderful,
who,
yeah.
was one of the
Excellent.
greatest men who lived on the face of the earth.
Excellent
He was
man.
a mighty messenger.
No one, even his
Messiah.
enemies, could point a finger at him. So if you don't want to discuss that, that's very, very good.
I don't need to.
Let's
Because
discuss the character of Muhammad.
in terms of the character of Jesus, I don't need to debate.
Muhammad.
You read the Quran from
Yeah. Good to see you. Have a pleasant time. Thank you. Bye. Hey. So yeah, I was eagerly looking forward to discuss the details of the Quran in terms of its records of Moses and the Pharaoh and their history. And there are some very, very important discrepancies that I find in the Quran that are contradictory to the Bible. And there is also one particular reason as to why I think the Quranic version is completely wrong and not reliable. Unfortunately, we didn't get to that extent today in the conversation with Muhammad, with this young Muhammad. But then there is the other Muhammad we might speak to in a few minutes. And so that's where we have ended our conversation. Now, to all the Muslim viewers, this is what I'd like to say to you, my dear friends. The Bible and its veracity is well established. Manuscriptal evidences, historical evidences for the narration of the Tanakh through archaeology and so on, well established. The Bible is a very reliable book. Not alone the New Testament, but also the Old Testament. Very reliable. The Quran, on the other hand, comes much later and makes some flaky statements. Thankfully, it makes statements which are too flaky that we can find out very easily that the Quranic narration is simply not historically true. And that is where Muslims, I'd like to invite you all to Jesus Christ, who is well established to be God on earth. He is the one who is able to save us. And Islam has only come in much later to try and imitate what it thinks is imitation, but it fails miserably, and that is what it has tried to do. And therefore Islam is not the way to go. Jesus is the way, and that's why Jesus said, I am the way, the truth and the life. Jesus alone is able to give you life, and there is no one else on the face of the earth who could do that. Thank you very much. It's your expert opinion, like expert comment on Moses. Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second.
An agreement.
Yes, which is to discuss about the Trinity. That's our agreement. Yeah.
You're not giving the agreement properly now.
No.
That was weeks ago.
Yeah,
We said
I was away.
Tawheed and Trinity.
Okay.
Tawheed.
Now we had the agreement. Hold on. You can't dictate.
Weeks ago.
You
Today,
can't, no.
Today,
No,
I want your expert
you
comments.
You cannot dictate the discussion.
I can try.
Arul.
I can try, Muhammad,
Arul.
and you can see how things go. Yeah.
Arul.
So, question.
Arul.
Do you think
Arul,
Surah
Arul,
28,
Arul,
Al-Qasas, is a reliable surah?
Arul. You cannot dictate the discussion. That's what I'm saying.
I can try.
Arul, again, when we discussed last time, I came here not to talk about your nonsense. I came here for a specific
Is this nonsense?
thing.
Is that what you're agreeing to?
I came here, what you're saying is nonsense. I came here for
I'm
a specific...
trying to just read from the Quran. Is that nonsense?
I came here to discuss with you. That means you are an ingenuine person. So, listen to me, Arul.
Surah 28.
Listen, Arul. I am the only one who discussed with you from all the Muslims here, and we did this year. We have already made a decision not to talk to you because I saw you that someone who's reasonable. If you want to continue as reasonable as I know you, then let's discuss the things that we have agreed to discuss it. If you don't want,
Muhammad,
then that's it.
Let's put
And
it this way.
consider this is our last discussion between us,
Muhammad.
and we are done.
Now,
so, do you want simple question?
Muhammad,
Simple question.
let's-
It is a simple question. Do you want to discuss the Trinity today as we have agreed? I was abroad, by the way, for you to know, and I just came recently.
Where,
I went to
Jordan?
Mecca. Yeah. So I just came recently. Now here.
So what did you find in Mecca?
Do you want?
What did you find in Mecca?
Do
Anything
you
interesting?
want to discuss the Trinity today or not? Simple question.
So, Muhammad,
Do you want to discuss Trinity today? Yes or no?
you made
Do you want? Yes or no? Just don't waste my time.
Muhammad.
Don't waste my time, please. Do you want to discuss Trinity today? Yes or no?
Muhammad.
Okay. Wait. Do you want to discuss?
If that's
do you want simple question? Listen. I'm the last one who discussed with this. I'm the last one who discussed with you.
Muhammad,
everyone
we agree
with it.
Many weeks ago.
Yeah, I was abroad.
Many weeks ago.
I said when
that
we
you were going to come the very next Sunday.
No. I said to you when we come next.
Tawheed.
Okay, when we come
Tawheed and Trinity.
I have to travel.
I'm willing to debate on that.
Yeah.
But today I am focusing on this particular thing
so you're not
where
discussing.
I need your.
So you're not discussing.
Do you believe in the Quran?
So you do not discuss.
Do you believe in the Quran?
So okay, here for the audience of
Surah
for
28,
your audience for your audience
Al-Qasas.
for your audience, you are an ingenuine person, and you lied to me at that time, and I told you next time when we come, we're gonna discuss Trinity.
You said next week.
No,
not next time when we come.
Simple as that.
This was many weeks ago.
Things happen in the life. Things happen in the life.
Actually, not just
people. No, things happens in the life.
Did you go to Mecca unplanned?
No, it was the following week I went to Mecca, but that week I was ill. So the week which I told
I'm sorry. Are you better now?
I'm better, of course.
Okay.
And that
now,
week,
what did you
so
find in Mecca? Anything interesting?
Now,
anything useful?
No, my interesting now here.
The most interesting thing was there.
The most interesting thing that we which we should discuss is the Trinity, as we discussed.
Now, Mecca, was there anything interesting?
So do you want to discuss
I know there is
Trinity?
plenty of interesting things in Trinity.
Do you want to discuss Trinity?
God, eternal Trinity.
Do you want to discuss Trinity?
I want to focus on Surah 28.
I think you are an ingenuine person.
Okay, so now,
our cameras are not here, by the way, and that shows your ingenuity. That it shows here.
Surah 28. Surah 28. Do you think Surah 28 is accurate,
My question is to you again. Do you want to discuss Trinity?
Do you think Surah 28 is reliable?
Do you want to discuss Trinity?
Yes, not today.
Do you want to discuss Trinity?
Yes,
okay.
not today. I came prepared. For that earlier. Today my focus is on Al-Qasas.
I don't need to prepare.
The wonderful chapter called Al-Qasas.
To discuss Trinity with you.
Do you teach this Al-Qasas in the mosque?
Do you want to discuss Trinity?
Surah 28
Do you want to discuss
Do you
Trinity?
preach about this in the mosque?
Do you want to discuss Trinity?
What do you think about this particular verse?
Okay, do you want to discuss Trinity?
Yes, not today.
Okay, then when you come...
Surah 28...
Listen, you have 2 years and 1 month, yeah? So when you come next time, ready for Trinity, we'll discuss it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Now,
I'm not interested.
Thank you.
I'm not interested.
Are you not interested in the Quran?
I'm not interested in you now.
No, that's fine, but are you interested in the Quran?
I'm not interested in discussion with you.
The Quran.
I am not interested in discussion with you.
Muhammad.
So, listen to me.
I thought you were some sort of a teacher of the Quran.
And I thought you are a genuine person. And I was mistaken. That's simple as that.
So we agreed to discuss something many weeks ago, and you did not turn up.
Which I was,
you ran away to Mecca.
No, I didn't.
Now you have come back.
Why do you lie?
Oh, you flew away.
Why did you lie?
Flew away.
Apologize.
I apologize.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
I don't discuss with you.
Okay. Now, Surah 28.
I'm done with you.
Surah 28.
I'm done with you. And for all the Muslims,
for
all the Muslims here, for all the Muslims, Arul, you are added to the group of the DCCI, and that's it. We're done with you.
Okay. So in terms of Surah 28, do you trust in Surah 28?
We're done with you. You are an genuine person.
Surah 28, do you trust in Surah 28? Is there any Muslim who can deal with Surah 28? Al-Qasas. Any Muslim at all who knows Surah 28? He might have expertise, perhaps.
He has all the answers. That's what he said.
Surah 28, yeah? Have you got all the answers?
No, shaitan.
Anyone? Surah 28. Are you Muslim, sir?
This one is another one, man. He's got all the answers. He washes.
Are you a young man? Are you a Muslim? Oh, good, very good. Come here, please. Please come here.
He's my secretary.
Wow. Do you read the Quran daily?
We don't.
Oh, so he doesn't read the Quran daily. All right. So Surah 28. Anyone at all who wants to defend that?
You put in some weight.
Let's. You, sir, do you want to defend Surah 28?
This is what happened, everybody goes, when this is shaitan.
Everyone goes away when they need to defend the Quran because they can't.
Perfect.
Running away. Any bold Muslim at all here who wants to defend the Quran? Surah 28.